really happened.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to understand what happened.
Okay, if you were at Mauritius, it was explained what happened, and if you want to know again, I can read from the mail that Badru sent on behalf of the board after a meeting of the board. That's what happened. There was a change of leadership that was communicated, and leadership is still functional. It is not a musical chair because there has been no change back again. If there was a change back, then it becomes musical chair. It's a change forward, and it's not a change backward to what it was before. So I've explained what happened, and as explained by the board, is what was communicated to the community. There is no change from that position. Thank you.
Ok, je vais juste résumer ce que le chair a dit en français pour nos amis francophones. Le chair dit qu'il n'y a pas eu échange de chaises musicales. Pourquoi? Parce que le board est opérationnel. Et si vous voulez, il est prêt à relire les statements que Badou a publiés concernant ces changements qui étaient pour l'intérêt de l'organisation.
Thank you. Now, Christian, you can ask your... Andrew, I'm sorry, I will not accept this, please. You are one person in this whole room. If you want to talk, walk to the mic, wait for your turn. Thank you. Okay. Now your question, Christian.
No, it seems like you want to comment based on your response. Is it possible? Is it possible, or should I?
Please, Christian, go ahead. I have answered. If he wants further details, he can see me, we'll talk. I want to make sure I deal with all issues. Christian, you have the floor, please.
I just want to invite Badru to say a word about that.
You want to invite my vice chair to say a word? I'm sorry, I find that very, very inappropriate. Please. We should do things that are appropriate. If
Chair,
there is only one chair in this meeting, Badru. You know what is right. I am chairing.
I was asking for permission. I was asking for permission to speak. Is permission granted, Chair?
No translation, only half the words can understand.
Yeah. Badru, you have the floor.
Point of privilege. Point of privilege. Come on. Point of privilege.
I don't know what is called point of privilege in parliamentary procedure. Andrew, please do not try to muzzle me. I am trying to chair this meeting. There is nothing called point of privilege because you don't have a privilege here. You are a member like every other person. You have no extra privilege. Nothing called point of privilege. Badru, you have the floor, and I expect it to be used with decorum. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think the community has been asking, and I've been asked the same question many times along the corridor since we got here. Again, with the guidelines of NDA, what I would probably suggest to the community is we're elected to the board to serve the community. And the community probably needs to know exactly how the power change happened. I have absolutely no problem sharing that detail, and I think I've also shared it on the email. Within what I can tell the community is on that day in November, we did have a board meeting. That board meeting did have resolutions presented by a number of board members. I think for the best within the bounds of what I can share, the board should probably share the motions of that meeting to the community, and I think that might satisfy the need for the community. Since we have said that we will share minutes, I also think it needs to be shared before we go into tomorrow, because some members of the board have used that event in a number of different ways. So I think it's only balanced and fair for the community for them to totally understand what happened and make a decision for the community. I think that's only fair to ask. Unless anybody has anything else to ask, there are minutes of the meeting. Those minutes should be made available. If the minutes are not available, there were 3 resolutions that day. Those 3 resolutions, I think 4 resolutions that day, they should be made available. Then as a community, we've been talking about transparency. We will be transparent. I have served this community for 13 years. I've enjoyed it. I still enjoy serving it. So let's continue, but let's be transparent and open. So Chair, please allow the community to see the minutes and the motions of that day before we go into tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Badru. May I invite you back, Badru?
Yes, Chair.
It is important, and I stand on my honor before the community, that I, Sunday Folayan, have nothing to hide, but if there are challenges, those challenges will be properly communicated to the community. You are well aware that those minutes may not be available before tomorrow. True or false?
Chair, the motions should be available. The resolutions are very simple resolutions. So if we can make the resolutions available, the deliberations can then be discussed on that motion.
I just asked a question because we are both in front of the community.
I am very well aware.
I will not want to deceive this community for any reason because it is not within my palms. If I had it now, I would send it now. And that's why I asked you a true or false question. Is it practical that I make those minutes available tomorrow? I need you to authenticate that, then you can sit down.
Chair, the minutes will not be available. However, the motions are paragraphs and those should be available. Those are very simple.
Thank you.
The community will make their mind up from the motions.
Thank you. You may take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
I confirm and I say with all modesty that just about an hour ago, I have gone through and confirmed the resolutions up to December 2004, from June 2014, from June 2014, which is currently published on the website. And definitely before the required time tomorrow, resolutions that were made up to the end of 2014 should be on the website. Thank you. I now move to the front of the microphone where Sheon is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Sheon Ojedeji and I work for Federal University of Ekiti. I have a concern about what we are doing right now. What I had thought was the reason why we called this extra meeting was perhaps to discuss things that we thought were not entirely PDP, but actually still relating to IP address, something that has to do with that. I think we're already starting AGM here right now, and I'm not sure that is what we should be doing. However, considering that the chair has gone this way, I would like to confirm if the agenda is not moved. The agenda is still the way it is. We are just having extra meeting.
Thank you, Sean. This is open mic, and my understanding is that anybody can bring any issue under open mic. No resolution would be made here. No voting will be done. People are free to express themselves, and that I will adhere to. We will not be taking agenda items on the AGMM tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much.
Omo?
Hi, Omo Oaya Wakren. It's I feel that there is an issue with the community.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more apparent that there's so many factions in AFRINIC, and I think that the idea of community is we're paying lip service to it. If there was an issue with the board and there were resolutions, and we have the chair and the vice chair in the sort of situation we just saw. I would think that the obvious thing to do would be to just share this information. It's a community-based organization. And failing that, I was reading the bylaws because I'm starting to read them more now because I see these rips. I'm thinking, how does a community of over 1,000 people require only a quorum of 10? It seems like the bylaws is trying to sort of serve the community and serve the administration as well, and it is not working. So maybe we need to think this all over again. And I will second what Badru just suggested. It would be a good idea to see the resolutions before tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Homo. Professor Queno.
Thank you, Chair. I'm actually quite saddened that when an elder wants to speak to his community, he has to beg to go and sit down. Nonetheless, I've been left with a statement. So is it okay if I read it now?
Yes, Prof, it's okay.
Okay. The Council of Elders is pleased to be present at the 10th anniversary, participate in activities of AFRINIC, and to attend the policy discussions. We first like to congratulate the AFRINIC community for successfully establishing the normal registry for Africa and operating it for a decade. This is a significant achievement that no one should attempt to take for granted. We thank all those who worked tirelessly to get this far, and also thank our global partners for the constructive environment that enabled AFRINIC to grow. We, the COE, have noticed several proposals at AFRINIC-22 meeting, including some special resolutions to amend the AFRINIC bylaws by resolution and voting. The current bylaws were adopted in January 2013 and had been developed by a bylaws review committee drawn from the wider community and with community participation. The change from community-led consensus-based approach to evolving a fundamental community-owned document through amendments by resolution and voting is of great concern to the Council of Elders. Perhaps these proposals are intended to address important and relevant issues. However, we think for those very reasons, the process to accomplish this must give chance for community to understand the motivation and opportunity to contribute to the discussions, while consensus is preferred to voting on such matters. The above discussion, coming after 10 years of operation of the registry and during the IANA transition discussions globally, calls for a deep review of accountability of AFRINIC. The Council of View of a strong improve reporting practices, making board meetings public, having public board meetings, appeal mechanisms, dispute resolution, AFRINIC community, and several service level commitments will be earnestly discussed and built upon. While we are aware that board does not, also aware of our responsibility towards our community and our history, then we will continue to give our humble opinion. To conclude, the Council of Elders stands ready to contribute whenever possible and bring its voice to the overall construction of AFRINIC. In this regard, the Council of Elders suggests that the concept of advisory council in the original AFRINIC proposal is worthy of consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Queno. When I see the CEO on the floor, I want to give him the privilege. I hope those on the mic don't mind. Alan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Alan Barrett. I've heard some suggestions about publishing the minutes of a board meeting in November. I'd like to report that it's not really feasible to do that right now. The volume of the minutes are such that they have not yet been finalized. However, what we can do is extract the resolutions from those minutes, and my staff will be able to present those resolutions to the board tomorrow morning, and if the board then chooses to publish tomorrow afternoon, I think that will be technically feasible.
Thank you, Alan. That's exactly what I said. So thank you for confirming that it's impractical to publish the entire minutes because for just Mauritius alone, over 100 pages of minutes. And so it's just not practical. We have to read over them. We have to make sure they're accurate. Those who are in the meeting need to agree that that is representative of what was discussed. And that's what I tried to allude to initially. Boubacar.
Merci, Sunday. I wanted to speak in French, actually, but as there is no translation, I will try. I will try. I will try in English. I will be quite short. I must say that I am quite worried, by what I am seeing. And I must say that the community I have been part of, so long, is no more, I cannot recognize it today. And I even wonder if you are not just using the word community like that, without any content. And at least what remains in that community, if you don't really take care of it, it will break apart. Because the kind of, words, the kind of attitudes, I'm seeing, is not really what AFRINIC should be. And I think that we are heading the wrong direction. Many things have happened, in the last couple of months or in the last 1 or 2 years. A lot of controversies that are not being sorted out yet. And we all read what the chair sent yesterday. So this is something very, very, very worrying. And I would urge, all members, the community, to really be very careful. This is an organization that is based on a bottom-up approach. But what we are seeing now is that we are trying, we are moving like a corporation, putting votes or whatever, or revenue generation as priority. And this is not, I think, the AFRINIC we wanted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Boubacar. Ben.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. I just want to say that I agree. This was part of the sentiments I wanted to express. What Professor Nee said and what Boubacar just said was part of the sentiments that I've seen. I mean, most of you can see that I haven't been an active member of this committee for very long, but at least I've been watching from my side. And I think after 10 years of operation, maybe as Professor Nee said, maybe it's time to look at some of the founding documents and some of the, especially the service level commitments, the appeal processes, the dispute resolution, the role of the board versus the role of the community, and even as is coming apparent now, this community participation. I think maybe we should really ask ourselves some hard questions and see if we can get the answers to move forward in the next 10 years and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. Andrew.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to speak slowly here because I'm still formulating my thoughts. Well, in some ways, what I'm seeing in this room today breaks my heart. At the same time, I look at it and I ask this community to look back over the last few years and ask if it is not the right time for this discussion. Over the last 5 years, I have seen election controversy after election controversy. I have seen controversies over the financials. There were controversies over the elections in Zambia, in Djibouti, in Tanzania. There were controversies on the financials in Djibouti. These things kept reoccurring over and over again. And sooner or later, there had to come a time where there was a breaking point, and this community had this discussion. And sometimes to heal, you have to take the plaster off and expose the wounds. And while that hurts, it is necessary, because I believe that this organization has for many, many years been headed on a path where we have become more and more fragmented. I point to the fact that I am one of the youngest people in this room right now. Where is the new blood? Have we become so entrenched with the elders, not just the elders, and when I say the elders, I mean the older crowd, the people who've been here for 10 years, holding on to the control. And it is not about the community and building up from a bottom-up approach anymore. And it is time that we had that debate about the transparency. It is about time that we got up and said, yes, this is painful. Yes, people are going to hurt. I'm hurting. I have had things said about me personally by this community which have burnt. They've really hurt. But if I need to stand here and be the lightning rod for the anger that brings the change, when I got elected to the board of directors, I said, I will bring transparency. We now have the most comprehensive report on the financials on the members list in 5 years. We have a debate on the transparency. But why, oh why, did I have to stand and be the lightning rod for the community anger to get that done? Why? It hurts. But now that it is here, let us have this debate. Let us tear off the plasters and let us fix the festering wounds that have been growing for the last 5 years.
Thank you, Andrew. This is the first time I would hear you talk in this assembly very coolly. I hope you will maintain it for the rest of the time. Believe me, Andrew, you make a lot of sense, but sometimes your method is what really triggers people. That was brilliant. Thank you. Homo.
Chair, I have to agree with you. I feel Andrew's pain, and I agree with most of what he has said. And I have a proposal. I think a lot of the problems we have is the fact that the community and the management isn't separated enough. What I want to propose is that AFRINIC forms an association of its users, which makes the decisions, and these decisions are implemented by the Secretariat. I think right now as it is, the reason why we're having these arguments, the reason why you have the board elections that like he says, that are all full of controversy, is because we don't have these separations. Because we say the community, this is a grounds up community, but it isn't really. We do have a process for the PDP, but we have a board, we have a management. I don't want to point any fingers at any particular organ in the structure, but we have a management that the community doesn't feel it's connected to. So yes, we're paying lip service to the community, and it's a proposal I think the community should think about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But I will not respond because it's not my lot to respond. Sheung.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. My name is Sheung Ojedeji. I'm from Nigeria. I think I'd like to first comment on the minutes. Hearing the chair throwing the question to Badru and also the CEO responding about the reality of not having the minute tomorrow bothers me, Andre. In fact, bothers me so much. In a few organizations that I have that I participate in, when we have meetings and when we have another meeting, one of the first things we normally do is to review meeting of the last meeting. We had AGM over 6 months ago. Over 6 months ago, we had AGM. I don't
Sorry,
understand.
Sheon, it's the minutes of board meeting we are discussing. The minutes of members meeting is available. Minutes of board meeting. The board met over 6 continuous days. It was voluminous.
Sorry, yes, that is it. What I'm saying is that that is not enough excuse not to have produced the minutes. It is not enough. So what have you been acting on if you don't have the minutes documented in the first place? Why have you not approved the minutes? Have you not read through the minutes? I am not trying to point any accusing figure, but I
am not trying to defend, but we've exhausted this issue. Unless you want us to again lay more details.
Yeah, so I guess my point is that we need to re-strategize on how to ensure that minutes are produced in a timely manner and are published as soon as possible. My second comment, I hope you are not taking one comment only. My second comment is in relation to the temperament at the level at which we are discussing issues within this community. I think we need to appreciate the fact that the community is growing. This is an indication that the community is growing and people are asking questions. However, we also need to recognize the fact that what is supposed to be binding us seems to be dividing us. And I think we should know that even though we are talking as a community, being African, we also have other members of the community from other parts of the world who are watching us, who are seeing us. I'm sure we had a very good PDP today. I'm sure we perhaps will have gotten an applause for that. But we are ending it with a stance that I don't think should happen. I like us to take advantage of our diversity in actually building this nation, this continent. Let's not address persons. Let's try to address issues. And thank you very much. That's my point.
Thank you, Sheon. But before you leave, I want to ask you a question just to show how easy some things can happen. This meeting, who is taking the minutes? This one we're in now.
It should be staff.
I just asked you now because you see there are times it's very easy to get carried away and then tomorrow we realize that the person we thought was writing was actually not writing what we are discussing. I just wanted you to take note of that fact so that you would see that situations arise that you would find out later on that what you thought was obvious was not there. Maybe we will have to then revert to the video archives to reconstruct what everybody said. I just was pointing that out to you so you understand that at times we can find ourselves in situations we didn't bargain.
But not to the extent of 6 months delay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheon. No, it's important to point things out so we just don't think most often that it's negligence. Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Joel Ngwim from University of Jos, Nigeria. Really, some of us, we are getting disturbed with the context of the discussion. It's good to mention to say what is disturbing you, but I think the mode of talking is getting to a level that these first timers they are feeling what Shehun have just said. I think there is better ways we can address these differences. It's good to mention them. And when we know that yes, those lapses are there, it's good to address them. If not, we may end up moving backward instead of forward. This year is 10-year celebration. We need to celebrate it with sincerity and openness. At the same time, we also need to respect some faces. Like Mary here, there is no way I can talk anyhow on her face because of her age. I think those are one of the ethics we have from Africa. Secondly, the elderly one also, there is a way you can talk to the younger one so that they can pay you in return also. So my own is let us address issues in a way that we should address them, not in a way that we add more issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to close the mic so that those who are standing will be the ones that will talk. So, Badru?
Thank you, Chair. Mine was this clarification to Alan's statement in that there will be resolutions and motions, not just resolutions for the meeting, and not the minutes. The minutes is understandable, they're too long. But when we go to bylaws 12.13-3, minutes of annual general members meeting as well as board meeting shall be kept in such an accessible electronic format as members may decide, subject to such reasonable restrictions, which the company may impose with approval of the members meeting. In other words, the minutes, if the members want them in the format they're in, also that can be done. So they don't have to wait. So it's a decision that we need to leave to the members and not the board. It's just a correction. So 2 points. All the motions for the day, and just reference us back to 12.13-3.
My understanding of that article of the bylaw is that the board may propose a restriction which the AGMM may accept or reject. That's my interpretation. Members may decide, subject to such reasonable restrictions which the company may impose with the approval of the members' meeting. That's what that clause reads.
Okay. Maybe you can invite legal counsel to confirm that. I'm okay with the understanding.
12.133.
But I had opened it myself. Now, from what your reaction is the correct one, meaning that these minutes of the AGM of the board, they have to be kept in a format which members can access. And who decides what the format will be? The members. But then there's a caveat to that, a proviso, that there might be certain restriction, but these also, they need to be agreed by the members. It's not the board which does it. The board can propose, we do it this way or that way, but then the member decide which restrictions are we going to put or not, in which format we are going to keep it on. It's already there. It was decided by the community last time we rewrote the minutes, the bylaws. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ashok. So as soon as the board processes it, it will be released. That's the pledge I've made. I stand by it, and there's nothing there against the bylaws. Mary.
Can you try it?
Hello? 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 Okay, my name is Mary Uduma and I'm from Nigeria. I'm speaking as an elder in the
community.
In the community and in the region. And I want to say that I have been in meetings where open mic are processed or are done, and those that are the leaders or the board members, normally they listen and listen and listen. And when board members are the ones that are frequently saying things, when we have open mic, then it becomes a problem for the community because we don't even know what is happening behind the doors. So the first thing is that the board members should be listening. The second thing I want to say is that there must have been a mission, vision, core value, and mandate of AFRINIC. Let us not deviate from that, and let us go back to that and look at that. And again, so many people have said some of the things I would have said. I'm just picking the ones that people have not said. So for this reason, I don't know whether this is being recorded or not. whether it's going to be relayed or not. The world will laugh at us if we allow trivial things to destroy what we have built for this number of years. So please, and please again, board members, listen to members, because it is a bottom-up process we do here. Again, I think there's a gap between members and the board, because I don't understand whether the members is the board that should bring resolutions to members, or members will suggest resolutions. So I think the what's it called, the bylaws as it's registered, wherever it's registered, and I think the bylaw, the corporation as AFRINIC should be separated from the community of AFRINIC. So when it comes to community issues, the community should take the upper hand. But when it comes to corporation is different, and that I think that's why you have the secretariat, you have a CEO, and it had worked these years. Please and please again, whatever point anybody wants to make, let's allow the person to make the point, but not the way that others will laugh at us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the last person, Christian.
I think as a son of this continent in Africa, I will not put further comment after the other person has spoken so wisely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian. Well, members, we have had ourselves. For me, I was taken quite off guard, but I guess we've done what we wanted to do. The voice of the community is the voice of the community. I hope when we get to the AGMM tomorrow, we'll discuss in a more mellow tone with less points of order and good decorum. I know we have a very, very tight agenda tomorrow, but it is possible. It is possible because if we listen to hear each other, maybe we don't really need to talk in the first instance. And I understand where we are coming from. I understand why emotions are very, very charged, but I want to remind us that this is volunteer activities. We don't get paid. We don't make money. What we are doing is to advance the cause of this continent. And I know very well there are many people waiting to see whether we would fail because they think we may fail. But we will prove them wrong. All right? And I invite you tomorrow to the AGMM, where we'll discuss all the issues, all the resolutions. The minority would have their say, but definitely the community will have its way. Thank you very much. See you all tomorrow. Good night.